there was this wonderful moment when I got a tip one morning from a reporter that the governor was about ready to have a press conference at the Reunion Tower up in Dallas, which sits up on a thing that looks like a golf ball sitting on a tee overlooking downtown Dallas, with the captains of the industry that were going to announce that they were all voluntarily signing on this pledge to reduce the emissions from their grandfathered plants. So I called a buddy of mine, Pete Altman, who was running the Seed Coalition at the time, and said, Pete, can you go crash the governor's press conference? And he's about to announce this voluntary cleanup plan for all these grandfathered plants. And Pete had written a study about it, so he knew roughly how many emissions were coming from these various plants and who was responsible. So Pete goes to the governor's press conference, and I have written up a press release which we emailed up to the local Kinkos, and Pete had 25 copies or whatever when he got on the elevator. And he wrote up there and literally crashed the governor's press conference. And with him was a woman by the name of Risa Henderson, who worked for Clean Water Action, who was a mom. And so when Governor Bush announced that these captains of industry were going to voluntarily reduce their emissions, suddenly out of the back of the room there came this gale of laughter from a Tickle Me Elmo doll. And if you squeeze a Tickle Me Elmo doll, it giggles. And it has this insane laughter. Well, everybody kind of looked around and nobody quite figured out where it was coming from. So the next time he said, the industries have gathered together to voluntarily reduce their emissions. Once again, she squeezed the Tickle Me Elmo doll, which was up underneath her armpit. Nobody was really looking to see if there was a doll up there. And the governor kind of kept looking around trying to figure out where this was, and all the press people were kind of checking out the room trying to figure it out. Well, the third time he was about ready to say voluntary emissions. You can tell Bush is now afraid to say voluntary emission reductions, but he doesn't know what else to do, so he says it again. And so suddenly the Tickle Me Elmo doll goes off, and not only does the doll giggle, but the press starts to giggle as well. And so the voluntary emissions reduction plan quickly had become a joke among the press. They understood how funny it was that we were going to rely on these captains of industry to reduce their emissions.